What's going on, everybody? In this video, we're discussing the pros and the cons of Hampstead, North Carolina. Let's hop into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you're notified every single Tuesday and Thursday that I put out a new video pertaining to all things Eastern North Carolina. Whether it's eating, sleeping, playing, living, working, Eastern North Carolina, we're talking about it on this channel. Guys, my name is Avery Hamilton. I'm with American Home Team at eXp Realty here in Eastern North Carolina. So that means as much as I love making these videos for you guys, I would love even more to help you with your real estate needs. So that phone number and email address popping up on your screen right now, I am the guy that responds to those calls, emails, and texts. I would love to have a conversation with you regarding a move here to Eastern North Carolina. And without further ado, guys, today we're talking about the pros and the cons of Hampstead, North Carolina. And without further ado, we are gonna start off with the good. We're gonna talk about the pros right now. All right, guys, so jumping into it, pro number one is the fact that Hampstead is directly on the coast. There is just under 40 miles of direct water frontage in Hampstead. Hampstead is a nice country club feeling community, right? Directly on the coast that shares a ton of water frontage on the intercoastal, or like the sound, right? As well as some of the beaches in the area. The closest beach to Hampstead is gonna be your Topsail Beach area. And guys, when I say that this is like the ultimate coastal community, I really mean that. We're talking about deeded boat access, deeded water access rather, boat ramps, boat launches, things of that nature. So if you're into water sports, if you're into just water activities in general, boating in general, right, or fishing, that kind of thing, Hampstead is definitely gonna be the place for you. It's sort of a happy medium because you do get some of that rural lifestyle, right, where you can kind of spread out a little bit, but you are also right next to the water. You know, a lot of areas in Wilmington or Jacksonville, you might be 30 or 40 minutes from the coast, right, from the water, but Hampstead is directly on the coast. So you're looking at a couple of minutes drive versus that 30 or 40 minute drive that you could get in like Wilmington or Jacksonville. All right, and pro number two is the fact that Hampstead, North Carolina is a very affordable area in terms of real estate. So right now, the median sales price is about $430,000 or so, right? Give or take. And that, yes, it's a little higher than the national average. It is much lower than some of its neighboring towns or communities, right? In Hampstead, you get a lot of bang for your buck. So you're gonna get bigger houses with bigger lots at a really affordable price. And taxes are a bit cheaper than the United States average. So you're not gonna be paying as much tax on your bigger property, right, as you would in certain parts of the United States. So coupling that with the fact that you're on the coast, you're so close to the ocean, and all of the amenities that come with coastal living, right, you really can't beat that. A lot of people are drawn to the area for those two reasons, right? The top two pros are also the top two reasons that people move to the area, right? Proximity to the coast, as well as the affordability of housing here in Hampstead. And with that, moving into the third pro is the small town feel that Hampstead has. Hampstead is a small town, but you know, I'm from upstate New York, and there's a lot of small towns that feel massive because you don't have a tight-knit community, right? Hampstead has a ton of families within, and everybody gets to know everybody, and everybody is super friendly, right? The natives, that, you know, you would call them the natives, they meet and introduce themselves to the transplants, people like myself, right? There is a little bit of discomfort there for us transplants because we know that a lot of people are bringing their issues from New York, New Jersey, California, right, out to Eastern North Carolina, and the natives hate that. That is going to be one of the negatives. However, they are very welcoming, and I know for me, I've felt welcomed in this area, and that is what leads me to say that it's a very small town feel and very community friendly. Everyone likes to, you know, support small business, that kind of thing, but also meeting your neighbors and supporting your neighbors goes a long way here. So if you're looking for a community where you can get to know your neighbors and really just have good relationships with people that are nearby, Hampstead is definitely going to be the place for you. And then the last pro that I will discuss is Hampstead's proximity to Wilmington. It's a short drive to the city of Wilmington, right? So anything that you could ever need is in the city of Wilmington. So when you're looking at going to some of your big box stores, things like that, or some of your larger amenities, that's going to be a short drive into Wilmington, right? Hampstead is a very small little community, so it's not going to carry some of those big box stores or some of those shopping centers, things like that. You know, driving into Wilmington, honestly, no big deal because of its proximity, which also is a close proximity to like Wrightsville Beach or even Carolina Beach, right? It's a short drive. And then it's a little bit of a further drive to Jacksonville. You're looking at roughly about 45 minutes or so to Jacksonville if you needed to head up there, or, you know, 35 to 40 minutes to Camp Lejeune if you take the back gate, if you're in the Marine Corps or the military and you need base access. But it is a very short drive to Wilmington, so anything that you could ever need is right there in Wilmington. It's going to be a short drive, and that is one of the draws as well, because you can be just outside of Wilmington and have all of the amenities and everything with Wilmington, but have a little bit more space and privacy out in Hampstead and enjoy a little more of that coastal living in Hampstead. All right, and that's a good segue into the con section of this video. Guys, Hampstead doesn't have a whole lot to do in terms of some of those bigger attractions and bigger like box shopping, things of that nature, right? There's not a shopping mall in Hampstead. There are not big grocery stores in Hampstead. There is not a trampoline park in Hampstead. There's no TJ Maxx in Hampstead. So a lot of those things that you want to do, right, or you want to go shop at or whatever, you're not going to get it in Hampstead. So you will have to drive into Wilmington, and that's not always a smooth drive, right? Yes, it's a close proximity, but it's not always a smooth drive, and I'll discuss that here in a second. But in order to get some of the bigger stores, the TJ Maxx's, right, the Belk, the Kohl's, Talbot's, the, you know, stores of that nature, or like I said, the trampoline park or the movie theaters or whatever, you're not going to get it in Hampstead. They do have parks. There's parks in Hampstead. There are walking trails in Hampstead. There's a nature reserve in Hampstead. So there are other things to do that you can get outside and be active outside. However, the shopping and the other like indoor activities, things of that nature, you're just not going to get it in Hampstead. All right, and as I alluded in the last con, the drive into Wilmington or the drive up toward Jacksonville from Hampstead is not a fun drive. Yes, it's pretty close, couple minutes. However, if you're caught in traffic, you're going nowhere fast, right? Heaven forbid there's a car accident or something of that nature that's gonna stop you in the road. It's gonna take some time, right? The traffic is not fun. They are working on some bypasses and things of that nature to try and divert traffic and make things go a little faster and smoother. But with the influx of people, the influx of northerners like myself, the influx of transplants, right? the roads are becoming more and more congested. And, you know, when people that move here from out of state, from other states or other areas, right, they bring their driving habits to Hampstead or to Wilmington, or you have the UNCW students, right, that are driving back and forth and they bring their driving habits. Things get kind of messy in the area. So, you know, I'm not one to complain about traffic, especially when it's due to transplants coming to the area and bringing their habits and all that kind of stuff. But if you're moving here, if you're considering the area, that is something you want to be cognizant of, because you're trying to go to work, trying to go play, trying to bring your boat, trying to bring your camper, whatever it is, something you got to think about, something to really consider when making that move, that the traffic just flat out sucks sometimes. But we all deal with it, and hopefully the North Carolina Department of Transportation can figure it out here soon to divert some of that traffic so that we're not all congested and everything moving forward. All right, and with that, with the traffic and with the influx of people in Wilmington and surrounding areas, one of the cons that I have here on my list is that there is major development going on in Hampstead, right? A lot of these developers are just clearing tons of land, really have no trees in some of these developments. I'm from the country in upstate New York. I like some trees. I like some of that, right? But with that said, you know, there's a lot of development going on. There's a lot of houses being built in order to support the influx of people moving here. That can be a negative because all of the land is kind of going away. It's being built on and it's being cleared. So if you're looking to secure your spot in Hampstead and secure some land here in Hampstead, you're gonna wanna do it quick, because they're only building more as, you know, more and more people move here, and they need to build fast, right, to support that. So if you wanna secure your land here and your house and whatnot, you got to try and buy fast. And it's a very competitive real estate market here because of proximity to Wilmington and the proximity to the beach and all of that jazz that I spoke about in the pros. So you are going to want to hurry if this is somewhere that you're considering moving. And the last con, I saved it for the last because I really don't think it's a huge deal with everything that's around Hampstead, but it is a limited job market. Like I said, there's not a lot of big box dealers in the area. There's no big stores or, you know, big companies, things like that in Hampstead. So it is smaller companies and or some like landscapers, roofers, things of the trades, right? That kind of thing. But if you are looking for some bigger time employment, you are gonna have to look into Wilmington, and go further into Wilmington or out toward like Jacksonville area for some of those bigger companies, just because Hampstead doesn't have a lot, right? It's a very small community, so the job market is very limited, and that's something to think about if you haven't found a job yet and you're considering living in Hampstead. It's not going to be very easy to find something that is like really close to Hampstead. That's why there's a lot of retirees that live here in Hampstead, because they don't need to work, right? They're retired. They're enjoying the rest of their lives on the beach and in sort of these nice communities and whatnot, without being in the hustle and bustle. I know when I retire, that's what I want to do. I just want to be in a low-key community, have access to the beach whenever I want, have my boating activities and boat ramps and all of that stuff, and just chill, right? So a lot of the people that live here, it doesn't bother them, and the young professionals and younger families that need jobs, it's not really a big deal because they travel into Wilmington. But once again, that traffic is something that you're going to want to consider if your job is in the heart of Wilmington. All right, guys, and overall, I personally think the pros outweigh the cons. And the reason for that, you know, I moved here to be closer to the water, to have access to the beach, right? To have this sort of slower lifestyle. And for all of you natives that want to comment on the video and say that, you know, people like me are the ones that bring the traffic and whatnot, I don't bring the traffic. I respect the you know, everything that is already here. And a lot of the people that I'm gonna be working with to buy or sell homes, I like to think are doing the same thing. You know, it's a fantastic community, and you know, I think that the traffic is worth it, right? The small town vibes is worth it, right? The proximity to the beach and everything that's going on around is totally worth it, and it definitely beats out the cons. So, you know, if you are looking to make a move here to Hampstead, certainly feel free to reach out. The phone number and the email address popping up on the screen. I am the guy that responds to those calls, texts, and emails. I would love to have a conversation with you. But guys, I hope you guys learned something from this video. Hope you have a little clearer perspective about Hampstead and some of the pros and the cons of Hampstead. And once again, if you're looking to make a move, please feel free to reach out. I am never too busy. And the Living in Jacksonville team is always ready to respond to your inquiries. And once again, we do specialize in relocation and PCS moves. So if that's you, feel free to reach out, always available. But until the next video, guys, have a good one. We'll see ya.